First of all, I would say certification is not like the go-to. It will only get like it's not everything, right? It will only get you to get an interview. But if you get to an interview and you're not able to defend yourself or say what you're able to do, then the certification doesn't mean anything. Absolutely. I always tell people like, don't saturate your resume with words that you cannot like. Every word that's on your resume, you have to be able to talk about it. Even if it's like you have to be able to talk like every word that's on your resume. You have to be able to talk about that because I've been on that end where I interview people, and I have their resume open in front of me, and I look for specific terms or keywords or skills, and I ask questions about that, and then they'll be like, I haven't done that in 6 years, or that they don't know.
Look, you probably have a Security Plus, maybe even a security clearance, but nobody taught you how to write poems, or how to test a security control, or submit an ATO package. I'm Chris Okpala. A few years ago, I was in your shoes, qualified on paper, but completely lost when it came to RMF. I had the degree, I had the certs, I had the drive, but when somebody said how to test the AC2 control or validate STIG findings, I had no clue what that actually looked like. Fast forward 5 years, I worked across DoD and federal agencies, led control assessments, written ATO package, and passed audits. That's why I built RMF Academy, to teach you the real world execution they don't cover in certification books. Inside, I'll show you how to write a poem that don't get bashed back, test and validate security controls, translate tech jargon, navigate NIST 853 and RMF with confidence. If you're in IT supporting the government systems or stuck on the edge of cybersecurity, this is your way. The people who go through my training don't just get hired, they hit the ground running because they practice the work before day one. Go to rmfacademy.io and let's get to work. Welcome everybody to another edition of the Tech Woke Podcast. I am your host, Chris Okpala. I work in the GovTech space, been doing it for about 5 years, and I love the tech space. And in today's podcast, we have a great guest. His name is Kevin Mukham. He's the founder of Cybermuk. He's also a CSSP. He's been working in cybersecurity space, educating a lot of people, guiding people to do their projects, and he's been helping over 100 people get into cybersecurity in general. And without further ado, Kevin, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing very well, brother. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Like, I know we've been kind of off and on about, the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we are able to connect, to do it. And I'm happy, we've been talking to your team, and I'm happy to have you on. And I appreciate you coming down to my neck of the woods, coming from Atlanta, being on a podcast. It's an honor for me, so thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, so how's your day going?
Very well. It's good to be in Maryland, to visit the city, I was at the mall, I visited family, and now I'm with you. It's all good.
No, I know, because you told me you was only here for school. That's it. You was on a mission.
Yeah.
So I understand. He was on one mission.
Yeah, I got my master's here. That was 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I haven't been back. I've only been back once, and this is my second time in a long time. So it's good to be back in the capital.
Yeah, and I know you've been on various podcasts. I know you're on. You're going to be in
African Syntech, and I've been on Hackerproof and African Think Tank and a few others.
And you're on Tech Woke now. So,
yeah, I'm on Tech Woke.
Tell the little audience just a brief summary of who you are so they can get to know you.
Yeah, so my name is Kevin Mukham. I'm a senior cybersecurity analyst at the Fortune 500 company, and I also founded Cybermuk 2.5 years ago. I am CISP certified. I have a master's degree in cybersecurity. I've trained more than 100 people in cybersecurity in like 2 years. I've consulted for multiple organizations, and I think professionally that's it. And that's a little bit about myself.
Now, that's amazing. Like, you not only coached 100 people, you got them certifications. I think you said you had a 98%.
Yeah. So we've had 98. So basically only one student didn't pass. And they didn't pass because of technical issues with the computer, not because they actually had a fail score. It's just computer died out and they weren't able to. So, yeah. And
that's amazing, because to be able to teach people, teaching people, I've learned to teach people. Teaching people are like children.
Yeah.
I think the Bible talks about that. Like, sometimes you got to really come up with things that kind of get them in that sense, and to get that high of a percentage, that shows that you and your team are very dedicated, care about what they do, and doing what they have to do. But we're going to get to that for a little later on the podcast.
All right.
I did want to discuss with you, like, these are some extreme times right now. You got, for me, I work in the government space. They're wiping out whole contracts out here. You know,
Yeah.
everything's changing. Like
Yeah.
it's like Thanos. Thanos just snapped everything away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, with everybody's getting into tech, you got people that's in IT that's trying to transition to cyber.
Yeah.
Do you think it's still a viable source to get into cybersecurity?
Oh yeah, I think it still is, and the economy has always been sinusoidal. Like these are the low times, but it's going to go back up, and it's just like I like to think of it like the stock market. When the Bitcoin goes down, do you take out your money or do you buy the dip? You buy the dip, right? So right now, invest in your skills, buy in your skills, learn new skills. You know, if it's like vulnerability, get into that, learn Nessus. If it's risk management, get some work, do some audit. If it's cloud, do some work. A lot of content is free right now or available on the internet. There are a lot of tools on the internet right now that you can use. So, you know, buy the dip on your skills because it will get back up.
And I agree with you on that because like I'm in ISO, right? So it basically a cyber analyst, do a lot of GRC stuff. Like with GRC right now, it's becoming more technical.
Yeah.
I do like with a lot of people that's in IT, they're more technical. They
Yeah.
can do that.
Yeah.
But originally with GRC, it used to be just you do one thing. But I've noticed that you got to learn AI.
Yeah.
You gotta learn actual technical
Networking and all
skills.
that, yeah. And that's one thing that I used to tell my students, and I tell my students, is like, if you want to get into GRC, it doesn't mean you should only know risk management. Because how are you going to tell an organization or a team that they need to do better encryption if you don't know what encryption is, right? Or different technologies. So in our program, for example, we have GRC, but you also have networking and cloud and vulnerability and more because even if you want to focus on GRC, you have to know all that. So it's important and even national to have all the skill set to work with different teams, different organizations, and yeah.
Yeah, even what you said, like the cloud, like we're in the government space, they're still hiring for straight RMF, but the thing is the cloud. Like if you learn the cloud, I don't care if you just get the certification. As long as you know the cloud, you know something about the cloud, you're gonna always have a job. And then
Yeah.
too, I was talking to this guy on LinkedIn today. He was telling me like he works, he does government contracting for himself, and he was telling me how he's working with a client about creating their documentation. You know what he did? He just went on the AI framework they already have and used it. So you don't have to know everything, but you
Yeah.
got to kind of guide yourself. So you're basically saying stay on the trending topics.
Yeah, and also it's a good point you're bringing about the cloud. The cloud is also great because it kind of covers a lot of topics. Like it has IAM, it has firewalls with security groups, for instance. It has virtual machines, it has networking, it has more. So learning the cloud, you're also kind of like learning a lot, like a little bit of everything, and that's also a great thing, a great tool to learn.
Yeah, like and then also too, like getting that experience too. You gotta go create a VM. Like when I did my master's program, I actually had to create a VM. Like I know how to. I do it on my own. I can create a VM.
Yeah, you
simple,
can launch, you can
practice.
make it scalable. You can, yeah.
So okay, so you're basically saying like, so for us and even people that's in the field, you gotta adapt to whatever they're saying.
Definitely.
Basically.
Constantly invest in your skills. No matter how advanced you are, like how skilled you are, there's always room for learning, always room to learn more. Invest in your skills.
Okay, so hey, don't be afraid to drop that dollar. What I will say is a lot of people don't want to adapt their skills. They don't want to learn. And in our field, you can't stay you can stay a little bit stagnant. So what I will ask you is if you're not able to adapt or you're not able to learn skills, is cybersecurity for you?
I would lean towards the no, because you have to constantly learn. I've trained people who are over 50, 60 years old, and even people I've worked with, I've seen people who have been like in the field for a long time go and learn a new skill because the tech is constantly evolving. The world is constantly evolving. In the early 2000s, in our homes, we only had a desktop computer with internet. In the early 2010s, computers and smartphones. In the late 2010s, computers, smartphones, and smart TVs with Netflix and Roku and all that. And now everything is smart. Smart fridges, smart ovens, washer and dryers connect to the internet. Hey, Alexa, light will turn on. So tech is constantly evolving, and cybersecurity, tech and cybersecurity has to follow that. And people, so you have to learn because if you don't move forward with technology, you will be left behind.
Yeah, I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I agree with you, but I'm gonna play devil's advocate. What if it is? You could say it is for everyone too, because we are, as a whole as society, we're going technical. It's going to get to a point we're not going to be talking to each other. We're going to be mind talking to each other. We're going to get a chip or something, you know.
And that's what happens with Elon Musk's robots.
Yeah.
You know, like they want to replace a human, but I still feel like no matter how advanced tech gets, the human will always have the last word, the final word.
Yeah, because it's getting to the point now where you can just inject some in your brain, and they're going to start, when you sleep, you're going to get ads. You're going to be like, get Cybermuk. I'll pay for that. I'm sorry. But, okay, so yeah. So, like, when somebody's trying to get into cybersecurity, I know we're both in the same industry. We both help people. Like, the first step I kind of lean towards of getting to cybersecurity is, do you agree, like, do you need to know what you need to do first?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a little bit like, you cannot go to your first basketball practice with a soccer ball, right? So you need to know what cybersecurity is all about. You need to do your research, like, what is cybersecurity all about? Because there's this misconception, a lot of people think it's hacking and coding only. And then when I tell some people, no, cybersecurity is wide, and you can go and write policies or review frameworks or documentation, and you never have to write one line of code. But it's important to know what it is all about, cybersecurity. Is it something that could interest me? And then you start learning what skills are required. Obviously technical skills, but also communication skills. Are you good verbally? Can you look at a piece of data and transmit it to a non-technical audience? Are you good written communication? Can you write reports? Can you present it to executive and senior management? Analytical skills. Can you look at a large set of data and be like, there's something wrong at this level? Logs, analyze logs. Problem-solving skills in general, like even in your personal life. Can you solve problems if something goes wrong? So all that, you have to know that before you get into the field. You have to know all those, and then start looking at the skills that you need to succeed in the field, and yeah.
Yeah, because like when I first got in the field, I'm going to break it down like this. I didn't know what to apply for. I thought IT and cyber were the same thing. IT is a whole different beast.
Yeah.
I would apply to anything, hacker, pen tester, cyber analyst, things like that. What I started to do to kind of adapt, like, what are these roles? I started to look them up, and I'm thankful for these podcasts, because I didn't know what role was what. So, like, what would you recommend for somebody to look what the role is, and then two, how would you pick? How do you pick a role for somebody? Do you go a role based on technical, management? Like, how would you go about that?
That's a great question, and that's why I'll briefly talk a little bit about our course, just to show you how we decide that. Yeah. So our course is divided into multiple modules. First, we have GRC, risk management, which is less technical, more documentation. Then we have networking, which is a little bit more, analyzing logs. And then we have cloud and IAM, and we have ethical hacking. So based on those different modules, that's when we see like the aptitudes of the students and how, what they lean more towards. And also we have a lot of interview prep classes, and there we see, which kind of questions they lean more towards. But it's all about like personally, like, do you what do you like more? What do you feel more of? Some people don't like documentation, don't like reading, they don't like research, so they won't be in the GRC space, but maybe more in like networking, where they like numbers, they like analysis. And others, they like documentation, they like research, they like reports, they like meetings, and they can be more towards GRC. So it really depends on, from person to person, it changes.
It's the person, and then like aptitudes. So that like what you talked about with your program, like you kind of go off of what aptitudes adapts to each person. Like for me, like when I did RMF, I'm not a people person. I have adapted to be a people person, and I think people like me, know. So I've adapted to that position, meaning and that's the reason I'm able to do this podcast, because of the skills I learned. But now I don't even know if I can do technical, so I gotta kind of force myself in that to see if I can even do technical. So now I get what you're saying on that, because a lot of people be like, is there a test? Like, and I always told people, whoever crazy up with a test that can pick where you need to go in cyber, that's literally $1 million business. Yeah. I've tried it, but it's too much work.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, go ahead. Hey, take it.
Yeah, and I'll give you some.
No, you got it. That's all you. Just charge $1 or something. You get 1 million people to take it, that's $1 million.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so we got that step. You got to figure out what you need to do. We figured that, and we're going to pretend throughout this whole podcast, we're going to kind of pretend I'm going to be that person trying to figure out where I'm trying to go. So I figured out, hey, I'm Chris. I'm trying to get into cyber. I know I want to get into, I'm just going to say risk management. Okay, so now I know what I want to do. The next step is like for people in general, and then for, how do you figure out what certs? Because everybody thinks, I know so many people with like 10 certs,
Yeah.
Like they get the CISM, and I don't think people really understand.
Yeah.
Like
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then you can just get the security plus and be good. Like, how would you find out what cert you need?
Yeah. So first of all, I would say certification is not like the go-to. It will only it's not everything, right? It will only get you to get an interview. But if you get to an interview and you're not able to defend yourself or say what you're able to do, then the certification doesn't mean anything. So I would say one of the certifications I like to recommend, and that's also because Cybermuk is partnered with CompTIA, is a Security Plus. But the reason is because it gives you like a really broad understanding of terms. It's true it's only theoretical, but it gives you a broad understanding of terms of, it has a risk management part, it has a networking part, it has like a good understanding. So like entry level, you get to know like everything wise, but we also do like hands-on training that we'll talk about later. And also you need to do a lot of projects. So do a lot of projects. When we train, we always like in our risk management program, for instance, we have things like controls assessment, audit and compliance, HIPAA assessment, CMMC, FedRAMP, all those. And we train students for that, first of all. And then we tell them like, do you have a friend who has their organization, a business? Go and do their audit for free. They'll be happy to have like a technical audit for free after we've done that in class. And you're also learning while doing. So for me, most importantly, is the skills and the experience. What can you do? What have you done? Okay. I have these skills. What can you do? Experience. What have you done? And when you get to an interview, you can defend yourself. You can say, I have done this. I'm able to do this. I'm able to get your compliance from 60% to a 95%.
Yeah, because like even with me, like when I first got into tech, when I was doing interviews, I would just do an IT interview, right? For a help desk, and they'll ask me all these questions, and I didn't know nothing. I just put stuff on my resume. So like even when I did RMF, I put stuff on my resume, and they just asked me all these questions. So you gotta I would say that knowing the actual skills is more important, because if you don't know, like with me, I can talk to many people. I can know if you don't know your stuff.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Doing projects and
absolutely. I always tell people like, don't saturate your resume with words that you cannot, like every word that's on your resume, you have to be able to talk about it. Even if it's like you have to be able to talk, like every word that's on your resume, you have to be able to talk about that. Because, I've been on that end where I interview people and I have their resume open in front of me and I look for specific terms or keywords or skills and I ask questions about that, and then they'll be like, I haven't done that in 6 years, or that they don't know, and it's very easy to spot that.
Yeah, I tell somebody a lot of things. I remember one time I put red hat on my resume, and basically the lady was still gonna hire me, but I was like, man, the way she was demeaning me on this, I said I can't really do the job with her. But she said, and this is even though it wasn't a good interview, the best advice I got for her: if you put it on your resume, don't put anything that you can't defend.
Exactly.
And to this day, I would never. Even my boy, I see he put a master's. I said, bro, you don't got no master's, bro. Like, why are you putting a master's degree on? He said pending. I said, bro, you know you ain't pending nothing, bro. I said, if you don't take, you making all the people that actually got a master's, like myself, look bad, bro. Like, nah, bro. I said, I'm sorry.
No, you could.
Okay, so like certifications. Okay, so work on your experience and then get the certs later, depending on what career you want to be. Say, for example, network and all that stuff. Okay. So you kind of touched in on skills, hands-on skills you can learn.
And I wanted to ask something as well. It's like, add something. Is you need to have a passion for whatever you're going to learn. Like you need to have a passion for it, to build a passion for it, because it's going to get hard. Whatever job you choose, it's going to get hard. And that's where that passion comes in to, take away that hard part. Because imagine someone deciding to become a doctor, and at some point it becomes stressful, and they're like, I don't like this job. But, you have to heal people. You have to, you're their safety net. So, and it's the same thing in every field. I remember, because my bachelor's degree was in electrical engineering technology with a minor in computer science because I've always loved computer.
Oh, smart man.
But then I went after my bachelor's. I started working before getting and every day I was going to work and I was not happy. I didn't like electrical engineering. I only did it because I was good at circuits, at maths, at physics, but I didn't like electrical engineering. So I was going to work every day like, you know, and then, eventually I got my master's in cyber, and today I don't even feel like I'm working. I don't feel the pressure because I have so much passion for it. So even when it gets hard, I think of solutions. I look for solutions, alternative methods. Like I like when, in my master's, one of my projects was to find 6 flags in a VM, like open ports and some stuff like that, like unhashed passwords and things like that. And I love that because it takes a few days and you're like looking for things. You're like there in Kali Linux, searching for things, and I love that. And if you don't have a passion for what you're getting into, if you just do it because you heard that there's money in it and all that, then you will easily get frustrated when things go wrong. So passion definitely is top all there.
And I believe too, sometimes you can manufacture a passion or like.
Yeah, you can develop passion. You can build passion over time. Yeah.
Yeah, because let me tell you a story for myself. It's like when I was in cyber, I ain't gonna lie, I wanted to quit. I was making $75K. It was stressful. I'm hearing all these people making all this money. I'm like, how you feel when they be like, oh, you making $75K? And then I'm going through hell at the job, and I'm like, man, I'm about to quit this joint. But over time, you get a passion, you be like, so you want to secure the systems. You want to make sure nobody is even getting there. So eventually, I foresee for myself, I eventually develop a passion.
Yeah.
And to the point now where I just be at home looking up CMMC.
Exactly.
Or looking. Did you hear about the order the White House just did it, the AI order or something like that?
When
so
was
basically, they're trying to mandate there's regulations and things with AI, and they're putting out money out there for everything.
Mm-hmm.
So if I find it, I'll put it. I'll show it to you. But
thank you. Yeah.
I just be doing research because it's like knowing this stuff now. Remember when AWS first came out?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Man, everybody was getting paid.
Yeah.
If you learn AI and it's so early, anybody can get anything and be good.
It's like, we are only at the start of AI. It's it's on an exponential curve. It's only going to go up, and you see the things that we're able to do right now with AI when we are only at the start. I'm kind of like impressed and scared about what's coming next because, yeah.
Oh, we're going to get to that a little later because I definitely want to touch on AI.
Okay.
Okay, so we know what we want to do. We got the certs and the training. Okay, the next
and
step.
And the skills.
Okay, so the skills, like, how would I get these skills? Should I go to school? Should I just practice on my own? And how do I even show these skills? Like, what would you do?
So that's a great question. So there are I'll say depending on finances, school is a good, bachelor's and master's. It's like a good way to get into the field because you get the skills, you get projects. Another way is you do home projects. There are some platforms like TryHackMe, which have free training programs. You can learn how to use the terminal, learn how to write network commands, basic Linux commands. You can learn tools like Metasploit, learn tools like Burp Suite, like Nessus, a lot of tools just on TryHackMe. I don't know how far the free version goes, but it's even worth it to pay to learn. You're investing on yourself, and then we talk about certifications. In our course, in our program, we do all that. So we have theory training, we have hands-on training. Everything we teach comes with a hands-on. So if we teach SSH, you learn SSH. You actually SSH into another computer. If we teach firewalls, you actually configure firewalls with UFW and IP tables and some other firewalls. We teach IPS, IDS, and we have hands-on on Snort.
Snort? Okay.
Yeah, you do Snort. We have other tools, Nessus, the Kali Linux terminal, Metasploit, Okta, AWS, Azure.
Okta?
Sorry?
Yeah, Okta? Okta?
We use Okta, in our IAM program, and we install those on our students' computers with VMs. We have pre-installed VMs. So it's very important to not only know them, but apply them. And one thing I always tell students is don't only come and learn it in class. Give yourself a realistic schedule. If you say 30 minutes per day, then follow that. Be consistent. If you say 1 hour per day, be consistent. It doesn't matter. You can go and just answer practice questions or just turn on your Kali and do some basic commands. But at least the mind and the hands have to have muscle memory to want to learn, to want to do all that. It has to, it has to come from you. It doesn't have to be like Kevin told me to go and study. It has to come from
You
you.
gotta want it.
You gotta want it.
You gotta want it. Because if you
Exactly.
don't want it, then
No,
you're
no
never
one is
gonna
going
be
to
in the
want
field.
it for you.
You're never gonna be in the field.
Yeah, no one is going to want it for you. Like, I cannot keep reminding you to, work on your resume or apply to specific jobs or revise your exercise because, at the end of the day, it's going to be you in front of that interviewer or in that job. So,
Yeah, because I would tell you like this: the Lord has blessed me to talk to some amazing people in all fields, and the people that are at the top at all fields that they do, whether it's video editing, whether it's politicians, whether it's system engineers. The one thing I'll tell you about them, they always just do it.
yeah.
Like they just built different. They might not have a life. They might, I don't know. They might not even take no showers, but they're gonna do that work. You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
they
Go
lazy.
for it. Go for it.
So I did want to kind of be devil's advocate to you because a lot of people that I talk to, they tell me the same thing. They'll do all this stuff, right? Okay, you told me about Okta, SSH. I've done all that stuff, but from my experience, it didn't help me get a job. So do you saying like do that specifically for jobs that you're trying to get into or for whatever career? Like for example, say I'm trying to get into GRC or RMF, focus on those projects, or
you focus on projects focused on GRC and RMF. Now, I was saying that to say like you have to be ready when the time comes. So you prepare yourself before to be ready when the time comes. So that, and I wasn't saying to do all that, but I was just giving some examples, right? Like if it's networking, focus on all those. If it's GRC, focus on all those. And also, this is also so that like when you get to an interview, you have done that. Not only have you heard about that, or you didn't just read the definition or pass a certification, because certifications are very much theoretical. But you have done that. You have your home lab in your little computer, your second monitor, maybe another device. You're able to SSH from one into the other. All those, so that when you get into an interview, you can talk about why it's bad to have port 22 open, or things like that. Not only like mentioning that, but once you've done something yourself, it's very hard to forget. But because I've seen people go to interviews and try to repeat things, like we teach Splunk, we give them some incident response logs and some network logs and firewall logs, so that when they get to interviews, they did it. They don't need someone to tell them, if they ask you this question, say they did. No, you did it.
Yeah, because like even me at my job, like sometimes I go through my job, and sometimes you might not work with somebody that understands that you know your job. So when somebody says something, you be like, "Hey, that don't make sense." You be like, "I highly advise you go the opposite way."
Yeah.
But then you already know where it's gonna go because you've been through it.
Yeah.
So and when you see it happen, you're like, "I told you so." But I get it. Once you've done it, because like even when people say that they don't like to fail, when you fail. I actually like to fail because I know I ain't gonna do it again.
Yeah. And I like this quote from Michael Jordan, like we were talking about earlier, who said like he's missed more than I think 40,000 or 50,000 shots in his career, but people remember him for the 36,000 or however many points he made in his career. Like it's okay to fail, but it's just not okay to give up. Just keep going, go for it. And another very important point, I don't know if you were going to touch that, is networking. Like that's, I want to say probably the most important, because you can know everything, but if you just stay in your room, then no one will know that you know all that.
We talked about getting the skills, getting the knowledge. You're starting to do projects. Of course, you're going to adapt your resume, later on part. But so where would I find to apply for jobs?
So I would say two answers, online and in person. Online is like just go out there, Google search, LinkedIn search, look for conferences, look for upcoming tech conferences, go to Eventbrite, look for tech events, meetups, look for tech events upcoming. Like there are a lot of boards and platforms like that where you can find upcoming tech events. Be on the lookout, reach out on LinkedIn, connect with people on LinkedIn, reach out, DM people. A lot of people will not respond, but focus on those who respond. And then in person, same thing. There are a lot of tech conferences in multiple cities, which are even free. You go out there, be ready to talk, be ready to answer the question, tell me about yourself or what your skills are. You go out there, you talk to people. Now, you need to focus on that one person who will say yes, because many people will like ignore, they will not respond to your messages. You need that one person who will listen to you. So go out there, network, talk to friends who are already in the organizations. Some might not help, but focus on those who help, and just build like that. The economy is very tough right now, but we have to toughen up.
Yeah, I agree. Like what I would tell people too is you're gonna go on Indeed. Indeed, for one thing, people don't know about Indeed. It costs a lot of money to put a job on Indeed, so it's not no fake jobs on there. So go on Indeed. Check on LinkedIn, but I've been hearing there's a lot of fake jobs on there. For people that's in the government space, clearancejobs.com, and Dice is another good website. So those are different.
Yeah. Dice, Glassdoor, Lensa, Gibo, Indeed, Monster. Just I know it's very time consuming to upload, to post a profile on there. I always tell the students, create a profile with your name, everything, education. You will keep on writing the same things, copying from your resume and paste. It's time consuming. I understand it can be, but just do it once, and then post your resume on there and on all those, and then you keep, from time to time you apply. Sometimes recruiters go over there, they filter by keywords and by skills, and they can reach out to you. So, it's time consuming, but you are investing on your future.
Yeah. So job boards right now are kind of dead.
Yeah.
But I'm just listing them because we both know. But we both know like networking right now is the key to get a job.
Absolutely.
Like literally, it's personal brand based. Like even with me, I post on LinkedIn. That's where I get most of my hits. People just reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm not even applying no more.
Yeah.
In case something happens.
Same.
So how would you go about straight building your network? I know you talked about some of the. I just want to name a couple conferences. You got Thanksgiving. You got Black in Tech. You got a lot of people. Afrotech. So, and a lot of them you can do volunteer work for free.
Exactly.
To get in for free. Exactly. Or if you're in the government space already, you can get in for free or have your job paid for it.
Exactly.
So,
So for those who already have a job, their job can pay for it. You can volunteer. And then you can go out there, even during those conferences. If it's, let's say it's too expensive and you cannot access the conference, there are usually some annex conferences around, like smaller.
Especially Afrotech.
Exactly. There are usually like some annex conferences, some annex platforms where you can go, you can attend, and you can, you network, you share your experience, you give your resume. A lot of, if you talk to 50 people, probably like 40 or 45 will not help or not follow up, but there are still some good people out there, and go with a certain energy, go with an open energy, a welcoming energy, a humble energy, someone who is willing to learn, someone who is willing to adapt, willing to go towards others. And there is no secret recipe to it. What works for one might not work for another, but at least give yourself the chance to succeed.
Yeah, and go at it a different way. Just don't go straight there and say, "Hey, I need you to help me get into cyber."
Exactly.
Like for me, I got a book on how to get into cyber. So if you need to, you can read that book. Or I got a book on how to get RMF. They're all free books.
Yeah.
But the thing is, what would get my attention? Hey, I've done this.
Exactly.
Like, if I've done this, what am I missing? Like, I want to know what you already done. But that's what get my attention. If I want to talk to you, network with you, that's what I kind of want to know. Like, how can we help each other? And then too, it's helping me get knowledge also.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, like even though right now it's hard because the economy is tough, like I said, buy the dip right now. Work on yourself, keep networking, don't give up. As bad as it is, I still know some people who are able to get jobs in the recent weeks. Like in the last month, we've had 2 students get jobs, and all of them from the promo passed their certifications, but 2 students get jobs. Now it's very hard. We're trying to, we're pushing for others. We have like a third-party program where we like apply for up to 1,000 jobs for students, and applying on multiple boards and show them like the jobs where we apply to. It's very hard. It's very tough, especially like you mentioned in this economy. But we have to, tighten the belt and keep going.
Yeah, you really do. So okay, so I got it. So okay, and also too, like, what do you think about posting projects on LinkedIn or talking about your journey on LinkedIn? Do you think that would attract people to get you a job?
I think so. It's something I personally did.
Okay.
Like I did penetration testing projects, cloud projects. That was when I was in college doing my master's. I did digital forensics and incident response projects. I had to go into I think it was a Linux.
Kernel? What is it? Kali Linux?
No, it wasn't Kali. It was a Swift. I forgot. It's a specific operating system, and I had to like do some investigations to find like malware and to find what someone had installed. So and then I posted that on my LinkedIn in the article. So definitely post. It cannot hurt you. You know, post on LinkedIn, post on GitHub, post on Medium. Just post it. You know, just put yourself out there, because it's a little bit like marketing. You can have the best product in the world, but if you don't tell the world about it, you know.
Yeah, because even with me, I might not be the best ISO. You know, I might not. There's some people that's some straight dogs out here. But at least I'm posting something that they know I'm the only person that's talking about it.
Yeah, so, exactly. Like I've known some of the best, like, you know, hackers, pen testers, technical, whatever. But if you're only doing it from your room and you want a job for it, then show what you're capable of out there.
And there's a couple big YouTubers I follow, not even YouTubers, professionals that I follow, and that's how they get a lot of the jobs they got. They just post their cyber projects, literally. So, you know, to the audience, make sure you posting your projects, everything you do.
And to the audience, and even to like a broader audience, I have some friends who like, they do like businesses. One of my friends does like bakery, another one does like hair and all those. And I tell them, like, post your stuff on TikTok, on Instagram, on social media. You don't know which video is going to blow up, you know. But once that blows up, you might even have to rent a bigger space to, you know. So go out there and show your work. It doesn't matter if you don't get views or if you don't get, because you don't know which of your videos or which one of your posts is going to blow up out there and who is going to reach. Yeah,
and that's why I'm not afraid. Like, even when I first started, I got this video on TikTok. I think it's like 200,000 views. And I'm like, I didn't even know that thing was going to, I don't know why that go viral.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so we know what job we want to do. We got the skills. We network it. We know where to apply, and we know where to do our projects so people can know us. Okay, so
and then did we talk about resume? Like having a good,
we'll get to the resume.
Good resume. So a good resume, I like to separate it into three parts. Who are you? What can you do, and what have you done? So the who are you is like, you know, your name, where you went to school, where you worked, your information, how they can reach out to you. The what can you do is your skills. You know, like what's in your skill set, what like experience can you do, what certifications can you have, and then what have you done? What have you done is like, what have you accomplished where you worked so far? You know, you've helped compliance go up like this. You have remediated this number of systems. You have done this, and that. So break down your resume to the point where it's easily legible by someone at the other end. Because the truth is that no one really like takes everyone's resume and reads every line. You know, I've been on the other side where we were reviewing candidates' resumes, and it goes very, very fast because there are like so many resumes. So you want to make sure that once you pick up a resume, it's clear what you're looking for. It's very much legible. It's very understandable, and you know, that's why it's very important, the professional summary. I typically tell students, like, your professional summary, and this is also an advice that I had received from a recruiter, break it down into 3 bullet points. First point is like, I'm a cybersecurity professional with 6+ years of experience, something like that. Second point is like, I have expertise in risk management, and more particularly in this framework and this framework. And third is like, in my career, I have worked with like public organizations and private, like government and private, and I did this, and that. And from there, just from that professional resume, professional summary, I know exactly what to expect from the rest of the resume. So it's very important to have a solid and clear resume. You know, none of those, because I've seen some resumes with like diagrams and colors and flowers, and no one cares about the beauty, you know, but it's like, is it clear? In 5 seconds, can I quickly grasp who you are, you know?
Yeah, because that's what I'm learning too. When I did help people with resumes, like, you gotta, in the resumes now are a little different because you gotta kind of show them how you can help in the future. Like, help them. Yeah. Like, what have you done? Like, have you remediated? Have you lowered the risk? Yeah. Have you solved the problem? Exactly. You know, even like if I'm doing an interview now, I'm happy at my job. But if I was doing an interview now, I would just tell them, hey, I see these gaps. I'm interviewing them at this point. I would be like, I see these gaps. This is how I can help you. This will help your company, and it will make y'all win more money. So that's how that's how I would do an interview. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. And then, two, for a person that don't have experience, right? And I get you're kind of talking about somebody that has experience, and I was there. I didn't have no experience. How would you put that in with no experience? I mean, you can't really fib, but like, what would you do?
I would say projects. Okay. Yeah, I would say if you have no experience at all, then definitely projects.
So,
Now I know that today in the cyber field, it's very hard if you don't have experience, and entry-level jobs are rare, like very much rare. But then look for internships. Look for internships, and once you get an internship, it's very easy for them to extend your or give you a full-time contract. Because to be honest, internships is really much about, are you can you fit in the team? Are you adaptable? Because I believe that a lot of things can be learned. Like even if you don't in the internship, even if you haven't learned that in school, you can quickly get up to speed, and then they'll take you in the team. That's how I started working at Deloitte a few years ago. I started as an intern,
the intern, okay.
and then before the internship even ended, they extended an offer. But I think I honestly think it was mostly because of my likability, like going out to every person in the team and just being there, and rather than being an expert or know-it-all or whatever. I think it's that. So look for internships, look for help desk roles, look for entry-level roles. Again, like we mentioned, it's hard at this time.
It's extremely hard.
Yeah, but just keep pushing.
Take one break. How long was that? Yeah, so like, okay, so you've done all these things, right?
Yeah.
So how would you prepare for an interview? Because like when you're going into interviews, like I've done that. You don't know what question they're coming at you with,
True.
what you're going to do. So how would you prepare, and how do you prepare your students?
This is a great question. So first, to prepare for an interview, you have to prepare for phone screening calls before even. Like phone screening is like they call you and ask you, are you interested by this role? What do you do currently? What's your intended salary? You have to be prepared for that. So at Cybermuk, we have like a module for interview prep. We have like phone screening questions, behavioral interview prep, technical interview prep, and general interview questions. Phone screening interview in general is like, tell me about yourself. That question will always come, no matter the interview. No matter if it's for like a $7 an hour job, or if it's like to be the president of the US, you will always get that question. Tell me about yourself. You have to prepare for that. So you use like a sibling, a significant other, a partner, a friend. You get in front of them and you practice that response with them.
So I have a question with that. Tell me about yourself. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people will literally tell you about themselves.
Yeah.
Meaning
Yeah.
like, hey, I got kids, I
Yeah,
got this.
yeah.
Do they really care about that?
No.
Okay.
Because being from the other side, you can interview a lot of people in one day, and it can be, you want people to go straight to the point. 50 seconds to 1 minute answers, straight to the point. And I don't mean talk like a robot, but like straight to the point and relevant. And don't tell me your life story. I've interviewed someone with whom, like we were two interviewers. We asked to tell me about yourself. He talked for 6 minutes. 6 minutes. And so we were DMing each other on Teams with the co-interviewer, and was like, are you still following? I was like, I'm not following. Because, so I typically tell students like 50 seconds to like 70 seconds, here or there, depending on your experience. It can be more depending on your career. And I like to tell people, be chronological so that it's easy to follow. So you can start with like education, then your different roles and what you achieved through your different roles, and what's coming next, what you're looking forward to. So there are different ways to answer. So tell me about yourself. Why do you want to join us? This is also a very important question. And you can land a job or advance in the interview just because of that question. A few years ago, I interviewed for Delta Airlines. That was maybe like 5 or 6 years ago. Mm-hmm. And it was for a role, a vulnerability role for Qualys, to use Qualys.
Oh, Qualys is a big one.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, I researched the company before I knew everything. So I told them, Delta is planning to reduce carbon emission by and investing I think it was like $1 billion or something by 2030, and this is the kind of value that I'm looking for. And I read this interview by the chief information officer saying that they wanted to. So I told them what was currently in the news from Delta Airlines, and I had also prepped for the technical stuff, and so yeah. Coming back to your question, preparing for the general questions, very important. Preparing for the phone screening questions. What do you do at your current role? Intended salary? Are you ready to relocate? All that. Be ready to answer those. Then behavioral questions. Who are you? Can you fit in the team? Can you work under pressure, under stress? Because behavioral questions is really to see how you react when you don't understand the task that was given to you, or if you're stressed, or if there's something going on in your life and you have to go to work, or if you made a mistake. How would you react to all that? Can you fit in the team? Can we trust you by assigning you this work? That's behavioral interview. And then technical interview. obviously, for any role, technical interviews, like, do you know the content? Do you know what you're coming to learn? So preparing for all those. And I also tell students, don't only come and prepare in class. Like, go in front of the mirror. Tell me about yourself. Answer that question in front of the mirror. Answer it in front of the camera. Significant other, partner, friend, parent, sibling, whatever. Practice that with them to the point where when you get to an interview, it just flows. It feels you're not lying. You're not or you're not thinking too much. It just flows.
Yeah, because even with that, like, when I interview guests on the podcast, 9 times out of 10, I've done my research to the point where I can tell. And when you tell people about your company, yourself, it builds camaraderie.
Yeah.
And that's how you do an interview. Like, even when I used to be a ticket salesman, I used to work for big bus tours. Before you even got the job, you had to take a test and just explain to them what the company is.
Yeah.
How can I sell you something I don't know what it is?
Exactly.
So you got to do your research on companies. Even though I do research now, I can say, oh yeah, I was founded in 1999. They're like, huh? You said, I didn't even know they was founded in 1999.
And that's how I got my very first job in electrical engineering. Yeah. The company was Allison Smith. I remember my interview, I had, like, it was before the remote and all that, so I had a piece of paper and I went there and I told them the company was founded in 1940 this, and it was like the first CEO was this person, and the interview was like, for real? Yeah. And that's how you build trust and how you make yourself likable.
It takes 2 seconds to Google.
Yeah, and also, and the final thing I was going to say is, like, always have a question or questions for them, because an interview is a two-way street. Always make it conversational. Always prepare a list of questions, first of all, concerning the role, then concerning the team you will work with, and concerning the company culture. And they do like that. They like talking about themselves. They do like that. And also, because in as much as they're interviewing you, you're also interviewing them. I remember I had, like, when I used to work at Deloitte, I had, like, one of the VPs, when we had gone on the client site, he told us that he had this candidate that he interviewed who was, like, he knew, like, everything. Like, he answered every question. He knew everything. But at the point where, at the end of the interview, he asked the candidate, do you have any questions for me? And the candidate said no, and he didn't hire him. So, because show that you are going to be part of the team, show interest. You cannot go and work or intend to work at a company and you don't have no questions about the people you will work with and all that.
Yeah, because you got to know, because you might be working with a crazy boss or something like that.
Yeah.
So you got to kind of know, and sometimes it might not even be the fit for you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I go back to interviewing them. Like, hey, like, what do you define success?
Yeah.
Am
I going to be in this role forever, or
Is it kind of, what is it, fast paced? How do you grow?
Yeah.
And I'm like, if I'm hearing you can't really grow and everybody's working, I'm like, I got enough stress in my life, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I'll spend, like, 8 hours of my day every day. So yeah.
Yeah, so, like, let me transition to, like, so with AI, so we kind of got everything you need to know to get a job, prep for a job, and hopefully get a job, because that's the main things people look for with getting into cyber. With AI, is new. We're using AI, or, AI is going to take a lot of jobs, no matter what. Is there anything you can use to get a job in cyber with AI? Or, like, does that make sense to you?
Okay. Can you formulate the question differently?
So with AI now, there's going to be a lot of opportunities, especially in cybersecurity.
Yeah.
How would you get a job in that field currently to take advantage of it?
So I think AI and cybersecurity work hand in hand. They kind of need each other, because AI is growing at a very fast pace. And just like every technology, AI was created for good reasons, right? Like to ease research and for advancing research. But then there are always, like, malicious people trying to do malicious things. So you need cybersecurity to watch over that, to prevent the spread of malicious things, of fake things, of deep fake, of all the negativity that comes with that. And so AI needs cybersecurity, and cybersecurity also needs AIs for certain technologies. You have, like, technologies like quiet AI and other technologies, like similar technologies that go along with that. So both kind of work hand in hand. And like I said, invest in yourself, invest in your brain. You don't lose anything by learning. Like, learn AI. There are a lot of, there are training programs, and there are a lot of also free for those who might not have, like, all the means. Like, there are also, like, free courses on Udemy, on YouTube.
Yeah, Udemy's cheap.
And so invest in yourself, learn AI, look at courses that relate AI to cybersecurity, some technologies that can kind of like relate both. Learn like, I would say a little bit of code. I mean, you don't have to, but a little bit of coding, just to know like how things flow, how things go. Yeah,
Python. Learn a little
yeah,
Python. You
yeah.
can't go wrong with Python.
You can go wrong with Python.
Okay, so I understand.
My first, just sorry about that. Yeah, the very first programming language I learned was Java, and like
difficult.
public static main void string args and all that,
Yeah,
and you
that's
have to open the curly braces and close, and I was, and then when I learned Python, I felt like a caveman discovering fire. I was like, you're talking to
It's
someone,
simple.
you're talking to the computer, yeah.
Because I found out a lot of AIs ran off Python.
Yeah,
I found that
Python is great, honestly. Even in Kali Linux, we use Python. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and also too, I just want to let the audience know with AI coming up, like AI is not perfect; it gets things wrong. Somebody can impersonate AI. Say a lot of people use AI as a therapist at this point.
Yeah.
For example, your boyfriend's a hacker. He can hack your AI, pretend that you are AI. And it could start giving you advice on what to do and manipulating you low key.
Yeah.
Just hypothetically.
Yeah.
You ever see Age of Ultron? But yeah, that's just know there's always gonna be jobs because it's still not regulated industry right now.
Yeah.
Okay. So we know we talked about how to get into cyber, everything. And I know you mentioned your business, like 5 points in this interview. Can you tell me about Cybermuk? What do you offer? And just tell me about the goals of the company and what you're trying to do.
Yeah, awesome. So, Cybermuk was created in December 2022, and the company has two main goals: training and consulting. So we train individuals to get into tech and to get into cybersecurity. And our training program so far, we've trained multiple people in the United States, in France, Germany, England, Nigeria, Cameroon, Belgium, Italy, like from
That's amazing.
yeah, multiple locations. UK, I think I mentioned that. Canada as well, to get jobs. So our training program is like there's a theory part where you learn the theory. It's very hands-on focused because we have 3 classes per week. Monday is theory, Wednesday and Thursday hands-on. Our hands-on follow what we learn on the Monday. So if you, like I mentioned earlier, if you learn firewalls, you actually configure firewalls. If you learn SSH, you actually SSH into a device. If you learn the incident response, you go into Splunk and we actually do Splunk searches. So we have training. We are partners, training partners with CompTIA. So those who join us have a 20% off the CompTIA Security Plus certification price. We do resume building. We do interview preps. So we build resume, of our students. We do interview preps. We help build their LinkedIn. We have a program where we assist with job search. So we are like able to apply to up to 1,000 jobs for students. We do like we have like a spreadsheet with contacts of recruiters. So their phone numbers, email addresses, calendar URLs, and more. So you can like go and put some time on the calendars. And so that's the training part. So training people from zero all the way to get ready to talk to an interviewer. And we've trained people with over 60 years of age, under 18 years old. We've trained people from people who didn't, like, who had very little level in English, who had never, worked around a computer before. We're very patient in training, very, attention focused to students. We have a lot of study sessions, individual mentorship sessions, because the success of the students is also our success. For the company to succeed, the students have to succeed. So we put in a lot of time, and students who take the course, they have a free re-enrollment because we want you to learn. I'm not focused on the money, because we have bigger projects.
I'm glad I hear that. Yeah, it's not about the money.
Yeah, they have free re-enrollments, and today, what brings me joy is like two of my students, they met in the class, they got married, they invited me to
they got married.
They invited me to the wedding.
So you
I'm
put people
a
together.
matchmaker. Another one, she had multiple others. They had children, and they invited me to the baby shower. And this means more than just training and come to the class and I'll give you a PowerPoint or whatever. It's like we built a community, and today we have like a networking group with all the previous students. And whenever there's like a new job or a recruiter reaches out to me, I post the job in there, or someone from the team, we post the job, and even others. And we have like, and it's not only like pure cybersecurity, but also project management for cybersecurity. We also have that in there. Now, that was a training. We also have consulting, so consulting for other businesses. So approaching them and being like, this is what it looks like right now, but we can help you get to this level. We can do a strategic consulting, so looking at your controls right now and improving them, or a technical consulting, even like actually getting our hands on your systems. And we are also expanding. So we recently legalized a branch in Cameroon.
Congrats.
And thank you. And we are going to legalize in France as well, and in India, where we also have people. So we are slowly building, slowly but surely.
No, I love it. Just so the audience can know, because I know with a lot of programs, I already know how long it is, but how long can you expect to do your program?
Yeah, so it's typically like 3 to 4 months. So the first, I would say the first 8 weeks is purely like training. So the first 2 months is like Monday, like 3 days a week from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern, because most of our students have like other jobs. They're either trying to transition or get a promotion. So it's like 7 to 9 p.m. Monday, theory. So let's say we are like in the a networking week. Monday, theory, we learn what is an IP address, what is a cookie, what's the cache, what's the DNS, all those. Then Wednesday and Thursday, hands-on and practice questions. So we take practice questions and then hands-on. You go on the Linux terminal, you do like the ifconfig commands, how to find your IP address. You do like all these different commands, and then you take on Wireshark. We show the actual difference between HTTP and HTTPS. When you go on an HTTP website, you can see that it's unencrypted. When you go on HTTPS, you go back on Wireshark, you cannot read the information. We show them how to track malware with Wireshark. We show them Burp Suite. How can you forward connections? Sorry for getting too technical.
I know what you're talking about.
But so that's the first 8 weeks. Monday, theory. Wednesday and Thursday, hands-on and practice questions. And then after the first 8 weeks, after each module, so after the first 3 weeks, there is a project. So first 3 weeks GRC, then project. Then next 3 weeks networking, project, then cloud, project. Then there's a big project at so in ninth week, but sometimes it can be more depending on the time. So there's like a big project where you go and we have like a very massive project. And then after that we have like post-training, interview prep, resume building, LinkedIn building, interview prep. And we actually cook them, like we ask them questions, and not us the instructors because they're comfortable with us, but we bring, so maybe don't be surprised if one time I ask you to come and interview our students, because it's always good for them to be stressed, to be, to meet a new face, because that's what happens in an interview. You don't know who you're meeting, and they don't smile with them. They ask them questions, and they're very, intense on the questions. So we have like resume building, interview prep, LinkedIn building, and in the meantime, they're prepping for the certifications. They get the CompTIA Security Plus and the ISC2 certified in cybersecurity, because that one is still free as well. And then we have we continue like assistance with job search. So we have our networking platform where if there is a role we send, if a recruiter reaches out to us, we send like a new role, and we constantly exchange with them. And that's like 3 to 4 months, but lifetime, access to instructors, to courses, and to, re-enroll. Yeah.
I got you. Okay. So, and then too, I looked at it, it's affordable. So, there's some people that's hitting college tuition.
Yeah.
For all the things you offer, to the audience, just, check out Cybermuk, make sure you check out his platform, check out what he's doing. He cares about everything he's doing.
Thank you.
I just had a couple more questions for you. So like, can you give me a quote? No, I'm sorry. I forgot what I was about to say.
The plan for the future?
Oh, okay. Yeah. You remember better than me. Okay, so Kevin, can you tell me like what are your plans for the future? I'd like to stick to the 5-year mark because at some point we have timestamps, we got it on video. What do you want to do for the future?
I like that question because it also challenges me and it keeps me accountable. So our plan is like to train within the next 5 years 10,000 people, and that's why we expand to multiple countries. And right now we translated all the courses to French. And like I told you, French, I'm from a French background, from a Francophone background. So expanding to multiple countries, especially in Africa where cybersecurity is still very primitive. It doesn't really exist like that, and so approaching organizations and helping them have a formal and standard cybersecurity approach, hiring people for cybersecurity. So yeah, like train 10,000 people. And also personally, I'm working, I cannot mention that right now on the podcast, but working on a very big project that will be expanded to multiple continents. Yeah.
No, I love that. I will say a lot of people use people that's in Africa for virtual assistants, and they're doing a lot of this stuff without AI. They're building all this stuff.
Yeah.
So you introduce them with AI cybersecurity. You never know what that'll turn into. It can turn into a Wakanda in a way.
Yeah.
So I love that what you're doing down there. And a lot of people don't have the connections to do that. Like even people tell me you need to go back to I'm Nigerian, so it's like you go back to Nigeria and and I'm like I don't have the connections like that yet. They'll probably try to get me before. I'm just joking. That's my people, so I can get away with that. But yeah, that's a good goal, and I think you're on your way doing that. You've been doing it for, some years now. So you're at 100. So 10,000 people, and I'm pretty sure your team's going to get bigger. So you might not have to do all the training yourself. So, okay. So like what's one quote you want to leave with the audience is? It can be a quote or something or a mantra, just anything you want to leave the audience with.
Don't wait for the opportunity to come to you. Create the opportunity, and like we're saying, like, go to conferences, go to events, be ready, get your skills ready, and then create the opportunity. Go for it, especially with the way the economy is right now.
Yeah, and and also too, don't be afraid to ask.
Exactly. Yeah, closed mouths don't get fed. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't get fed, man. I mean, if you hungry and you bones, I mean, somebody eating a sandwich, I'm like, can I get a piece?
Yeah. Because like in most of those things, like you look at a LinkedIn page or someone's account or an Instagram page. It's people behind those. You just send a DM. What's the worst thing that can happen? They don't respond.
Or ignore you until I get those a lot.
Yeah, they tell you no. But, send the DM. It just takes you like 5 minutes or to the right, and that's a good one as well.
Yeah, no problem. So thank you, Kevin, for coming on.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
I appreciate you coming all the way from
Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia. Who knows? I might be down there at some point.
If you come down there, let's have a drink, brother.
Yeah, I got most of the day. Hey, show me a good time. Yeah. But thank you, everybody, for watching the podcast. This was a great podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below if you have any different tips, or if you just enjoy. Remember to check out the Tech Woke newsletter. Also, check out rmfacademy.io if you want to learn different RMF stuff. And then also check out the merch. But remember, everybody, get 1% better every day. Peace out, everybody. I will see you on the next one. Thank you, everybody.